in the beginning, if you'd like to, and if you're, especially if you're new, go ahead and send something in the chat to introduce yourself if you'd like. And you can save the chat too. There are three little, when you open up your chat window, there are three little dots to the right, I believe, and it will allow you to save the chat. But it will only save the chat that you have when you save it. So you might want to do it toward the end of the meeting so you get everything there, or after everybody has introduced themselves. If you keep your audio muted during the presentations, then that'll cut down on any phone ringing or dogs barking or whatever while we're trying to talk. We're going to start off with, I'm going to go over some of the FamilySearch catalog and its wiki. It's a very valuable wiki. And then Wayne is going to talk about the FamilySearch crowdsourced tree and finding reliable information on that. And then we'll have general genealogy discussion on your questions, and hopefully we can provide some advice on what to do, and then topics for the next meeting and a date that we can to be announced. So at any rate, let me start here with a new share. Let's see before I do that. Actually, I'm going to stop the share first. And I'm going to move over to this. Okay, got to do a new share here. Okay, so should be looking at my PowerPoint slide here. So I'm going to be doing, we're basically revisiting FamilySearch. We did an intro to this in September of 2020 last year. So we're just going to go over it because there have been some changes to the interface and so forth. So this will be, we're going to focus mainly on the catalog finding tool, and then talk a little bit about the FamilySearch wiki. And that should do it. Hopefully it'll take about 30-35 minutes. So as you know, FamilySearch.org is completely free. It's the largest free genealogical database in the world. And it has, as of 2019, over 6.3 billion searchable images online. And the other parts of it, 4.65 billion total records indexed. So you can see there's a little bit of a gap there between the indexed records and the number of searchable. New images from the historical records collections. And that's another part of the FamilySearch ecosystem that we'll talk a little bit about, is the historical records collection. 22 million new images there, 832.5 million published in the catalog, which is what we're going to be dealing with. And you can see some book scanning. But I was trying to find an infographic for 2020 and I couldn't, but I did find this press release that said they hit 8 billion searchable names in historical records. So that's pretty good. This is the ecosystem as I see it in the FamilySearch.org. So we're going to talk about catalog. There's the FamilySearch wiki, which we'll mention, the family trees and genealogies, which Wayne will talk about. There's also a catalog of a library of books, and many of them are digitized. So you can actually read full text historical genealogical tomes there. And then the historical collections, which works with the catalog, and even more so now, where Historical collections have been integrated in the catalog, so you can find them either way. But you can choose to search only the historical collections. And I think the best way to define a historical collection, it's parts of the catalog entries that are amalgamated into one collection. And that's the way I see it. So we'll talk about the catalog and how one may miss things in a search. And it's very easy. And I'll tell you, I've missed things and I've gone back to find them and then I've missed them again. So it can be challenging sometime. We'll talk a little about the research wiki. And then I want to just make a note about FamilySearch affiliate libraries and what they can do. So here are some images of what they look like. So the FamilySearch catalog is basically a catalog search, but it's more than just books. And then the historical records collections search these amalgamations of what is found in the catalog, but not everything. And then the FamilySearch wiki, and then we'll have the FamilySearch family tree. Okay, catalog search. So what is the FamilySearch catalog? It's defined in the FamilySearch wiki. It is it includes the genealogical research of the FamilySearch.org and the Family History Library in Salt Lake City and selected family search centers. It's a guide to the birth, marriage, death records, census records, just about everything you can imagine that would be related to genealogical research. And it includes images of records. So the types of catalog searches one can do, they're listed on the left side there. It defaults to a place search. And that's the way that I use it. I rarely use these other searches, but they can be used. They can be used in combination. The place search is the most valuable, I think, because obviously that's how we do genealogical research. It's based on where the ancestors lived, and that's where the records are based, whatever they might be. So that's what we do, but these are other ways to search the catalog. And I find them somewhat limited, except if you want to get into keywords and subjects that might be helpful there. And there are negative results. Sometimes you can't find anything through the catalog, especially looking for places, because it may not be listed under the place that you're looking for. So look, when we're doing this search, and there'll be an example of this, look under other alternate places. It may be under, instead of a state level, it might be under a county, it may be under a town, it may be neighboring counties and towns where your ancestor lives. So you need to sort of broaden it up a little bit. And then their recommendation, if you're looking for surnames, look for variations of the family names, and then try varieties of searches. And it's true, they're always updating with new materials in their catalog. Now, when you do a place name search, there are subdivisions, just there are subdivisions in a traditional card catalog, a library card catalog. And there are many of these. I have, you can see the entire thing in the wiki. I've placed the link there, but they are, and these are the most important ones I find for research. Of course, census information. And they do have all the decennial United States Census, just as Ancestry.com does. And the big difference is this is free, Ancestry costs. So if you want to search census, which is like the basic foundation block of most genealogical searches of where to find your ancestors, you can use FamilySearch for free. The only thing you have to do is register for an account, and that's it. It's a free account. You give them basic information, and that's all they have to do. Church records, civil registration. In the United States and Canada, civil registrations are called vital records, and you would look under vital records. But if you're looking in another country, they're listed under civil registrations. Mm-hmm. Court records, anything from a judicial body that might be available, and it's been it's in the FamilySearch system. Land and property, those are really important records for establishing kinship among people. You don't know, like in an 1830 census, who the people were in this household. There could be a land or property record which identifies the wife or a child or, you know, a cousin or something. So these are really, really important records for that. They have a very extensive obituary collection of free access to obituaries that they have access to the digitized parts of it. And of course, town records are important for Vermont because most of our records are collected on a town level. So those are very important. And then I mentioned the vital records part of it, which is in the United States and Vermont. I mean, United States and Canada, where you can find the birth, death, and marriage records. So this is what the search looks like in the catalog. And I'm going to actually now move to a new share, and we're going to look at, let's see. Okay. Did that change for everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, it changed.
Okay. Okay, good. So you're seeing a website now. Okay.
Right.
So at any rate, this is the FamilySearch landing page. You can see that I have an account here. So you can actually do searches without an account, but then they'll want you to register for an account to view anything. So I just you know, advised go ahead and do that. And Wayne's going to be talking about the family tree, but we're going to look under this search feature here. And as you can see, you can get access to the records, which are the historical records, images, genealogies, catalog books, and the research wiki. So we're going to be talking about the catalog and the research wiki. So let's see if I can let's see, we'll do it this way. Okay, hopefully that changed for you. We're going to see, as I said, it defaults to place. I'm going to only look for online records. I'm not going to bother with anything that might not be digitized yet, although most things have been digitized in the FamilySearch database now. So anyway, typing in Vermont, you're going to get all sorts of hits for that, but we're going to look at United States, Vermont. Okay, so as you can see, you get this whole list of hits off that search, and these are the subdivisions that I was talking about. And there's a whole list of them, and then at the parentheses at the end shows the number of actual titles in that particular subdivision. But as an example, I think I want to just do a census for you. So let's take a look at the 1910 census. And so there's one under that, and it's the actual Vermont 1910 federal census. So if we click on that, and what you see now is what you would in a typical catalog author format language. It's 7 microfilm reels. So these are actual originally microfilm reels that they digitized. And then you go lower on the catalog record, and you can actually then see the various records. And we'll just focus in on Windham County. So this is part of Windsor and Windham County. It gives you the enumeration districts. And if you move over here to the right, and we won't talk about the film number or the image group, they're really not relevant to what we're talking about today. You have this little magnifying glass, which is search the index. So these are actually been indexed, and then you have browse the images if you just wanted to browse the images. So let's just do search the index. So if we click on that, we'll come up with an index search that, not what I expected, but let's see what we got here. Okay, that's better. So at any rate, it tells you at the top that we're searching part of Windsor and Windham County. There are 51,000 entries. That's probably about right. And it just gives you a random listing at this point of what's in the catalog. But we can actually do a search over here, which is handy. And you can use various fields to search on. So let's just we'll just do one to show you how this actually works. So let's do name, let's do sex, and we can come down here and do residence. And you could do other searches as well. And so we'll do male, let's just do Smith. Make an exact search, and residence, let's choose Brattleboro. Okay. So at any rate, it found 168 men with the last name of Smith living in Brattleboro. Sounds about right. Over on the right here, this will show you if this person has been attached to a tree, a family tree, which is interesting. And Wayne will probably talk a little bit about that. This is the actual image, and this is the record detail. But let's just jump to the image, save some time. And what it will do, it'll go actually to the image 10 on the 40 images of Brattleboro in the census for 1910. You'll see that these have been indexed, so you'll see a list here. So this is the guy that we're looking for, Charles. And hopefully you're seeing this magnify on your screen. But if not, up here at the top, you'll see that it's Charles D. Smith, and it gives his family composition and all the other information that's in a census record that I'm sure all of you have seen. So that's just one easy example. If we back out of this a little bit, I'll go to another example of a catalog search here. Okay, let's take a look at a military record or some military records. And if you come down here, you'll see a whole list of subdivisions. And I'm going to pick the one with the most links under it, which is a general military record section. And as you can see, these have been digitized military records of various sorts. And I just want to kind of show you something here, which is kind of cool. This French and Indian War records, 1744 to 1748. I clicked on that just to see what I was going to find. I had never looked at it before, but it's actually a very brand new addition to the catalog. You can see it was done in 2021. It's a manuscript with digital images, but it's a preliminary description. It has not actually been processed yet. But when it does, you're going to be able to see these down here, and it probably won't be indexed, but at least you'd be able to browse those images. And it's hard to say how many they're going to be, but so that was kind of neat. And you won't find this in a historic collection because nothing's been done yet to them. But the one I kind of want to look at is these initial enrolled militia records and the Vermont County Clerk. So these are county level records that were done by for this particular collection. Now you can see it says a collection record. Now this is where the historic collections part of the catalog interfaces with the catalog. So these are actual, you can find these in the historic records search as well, which is a different search. But as you can see, what I mean, it's these are the microfilm records of all of these individual parts of what has been digitized on FamilySearch, and they've amalgamated into this one historic collection. Now, going further down here, it says that we can view the digital images by clicking here. So if we do that, it'll bring us to this place where you can do the search. Now, this is all new. This is a new interface that I had not seen before, even though I work in this quite a bit. This is the interface for the historic record search. And from here, you can do the search. You have the link of how to use this collection, which takes you to the FamilySearch Wiki, and it gives you valuable information there. But it also allows you to browse the images too. And they're only 598. So you might choose to browse this, not relying on the search. And if we do that, and I want to show you this for its importance, is that the town and county, if you were expecting to find somebody from Brattleboro, you're not going to find them, because Brattleboro or Windham County is not here. So, so if you just kind of jumped into this, you know, thinking you're going to find something in Windham, and then you walk away and saying there were no results, it was because that particular there's really nothing in this database from Windham County. But anyway, let's just pick one here. We can look at Heinsberg, just get an idea. So this is from Heinsberg in Chittenden County from 1861 to 1866. So this is basically Civil War. And what you're looking at here is the actual digitized volume, probably from the county clerk in Chittenden County of Heinsberg, or it might even be the town clerk, although the catalog record said county. So it gives you, here's the first page of the book, and then you can scroll just by hitting the image. There are only 29, so you could go through this rather quickly. And this will provide you with the name of the enrollee, his age, occupation, and any remarks. Now, if we had gone to the FamilySearch Wiki, we would know what this is about. This is about men who were eligible for service in the military who lived in this town and in this county. And these remarks will, you know, tell you a little bit about whether or not that person was going to be, you know, going to be inducted into the service or not. And I noticed here that some of them is that this fellow is an older guy, 48 years old, and he has a cross through them, and it says 45. So maybe that was the cutoff point. People with more knowledge of Civil War military history might be able to tell me, but this fellow was maybe too old. This fellow here, actually, it looks like he died in July of 1863. So they made a note on this record. So at any rate, this is just, you know, just wanted to show you what that was, and so just is particular part of the FamilySearch catalog search. So at any rate, let's go back again, and what I want to do is look at a very important part of this catalog for any kind of research, and that's vital records. So if you come down to the end, we have vital records. There are 18 particular collections in this, and if we hit vital records here, we can see what's in there. Some very specific, you know, vital record collections. But if you go down further, you will find the really big collections of that. So you have this particular one that goes from 1760 to 1954, another vital record collection from 1760 to 2008, And then if we go down, we have a 1760 to 2003. And then we have this one, which goes from 1732 to 2005. And you notice that these are town clerk records, and the ones above are collections that are the Vermont State Archives. So at any rate, we can check. Let's check this one first. And so this particular one goes through 2005, and as you can see, just as the other one we were looking at, it has a lot of individual ones, and perhaps might be a little hard to do. So sometimes what I do is, if it's a long list, I do a find command, and so if I want to find where Brattleboro is mentioned, I just do the find, which is with a Mac, it's Command F. And you can just page through the, or item through the number. So here's one. So this is index to marriage and death, 1857, births, marriages, that's 1787, Brattleboro. And there's actually another one with town and vital records that are even a little bit earlier, going to 1779. So let's take a look at what that one will give us. Okay, so this goes to the actual particular collection here. And there are 3 items that have been digitized. They have not been indexed, so you can't really do an index search for that. And so there's a vital records index here, just an internal index, marriage records, and this is where, you know, sort of the heart of the matter is. And this is a 334 images. Now, this is a book as well, and let's just take a look at what this book is. So it's the Ancient Town and Road Records, 1779. Now, early Vermont vital records were many times recorded in books other than vital record book, and this is where these are. I think it was 1847 and 57, I'm sorry, I don't remember, but that's when the state required that towns record vital records. They didn't have to before that time. So this is where one of those odd places where you would perhaps find something. So at any rate, that is how that is looking at one collection that's not indexed. So let's just take a look at these other collections here. And so here is the historic collections from 1732 to 2005 of all Vermont town records. And as you can see, that you can browse them if you want. It's over 1 million images, but you can do a search as well. Now remember that search that we were going to, that particular collection we were looking at was an index. So let's just say I wanted to find this fellow. His name was Henry Easterbrook, and he lived in Brattleboro. And I know he was born in early part of the, you know, let's just say 1810 or something. So we do that search. And here are some, there were 17 records found. Here's one, Henry Easterbrook's, but it's not going to give me, I don't think, any birth information here. And if we scroll down here, we're going to find, I didn't make it exact, so it did a little broader search than I wanted. But at any rate, I didn't find the person that I wanted to find. So I might walk away from this search thinking that there's nothing here for this fellow who I know was born in the early part of the 19th century. So let's see. I mean, if I'm not willing to give up with this, let's see if there's another one that we could look at here. And there's this other collection here from 1760 to 1954. And so it's an earlier collection that has been digitized. And we can search this. Now this is name, index, and images of index cards, which is kind of interesting. So these are transcriptions of records that have been indexed. So we can look for Henry Estabrook again in Brattleboro and do the search. And here's the guy right here. Born in 1817, Henry Jones Estabrook. And if I click here on the image, what we're going to find is that the transcribed record. So here is the record. And you could just stop here and say, okay, got it. But it's a transcription. So, you know, I would like to look at the original record, the record that's in the book. So, because that's where they got it. So if you remember, we were looking at these records in this list that gave us the book of those roads and town vital records. So let's go back to that. And as we remember, it was not indexed, but oops, I'm sorry, didn't want to go there quick. I wanted to go to this index first. So this is an internal index that was done for this particular collection. And if we go here, we see that these are indexed to births, deaths, and marriages in the town clerk's collection. It seems to be alphabetical. So here's Baker, Butterfield. So let's go to the E's for Estabrook. And that's D. Okay, here is where I would expect to find it, but there's only one Estabrook here, and it's Benjamin. So what's up with this? But I did notice that the index entry caught another name of Jones. So let's see if we go to the J's. And we look down here, and what do you know? Henry Jones Estabrook, son to Nancy Jones, son of, looks like Benson as well. Not sure if this is what record this is referring to, but let's say that it's that one. And what you have here is how you're going to be able to find the actual record. It's actually on, go up here. It's on page 223, number 194. So if we go back now to the actual town and vital records and click on that link, and just to spare you the pain of having to find this, I know which image it is. And when it's like that, you have to sort of trial and error it. So it's actually on image 123. And you can type that into that box there. And we go to this image, and it's a handwritten script. But you go down, 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 and you find this number 194, which was captured in the book, and this is the record. Henry Jones Estabrook, son to Nancy Jones, was born on May 29th, 1817. And it was recorded actually 13 years later by Stephen Greenleaf, who was the town clerk. So just to say that how easy it is to miss something that's there. And you really have to do the kind of reasonable, exhaustive search, which is all what genealogists have to do. Hey, Wayne, how am I doing? Am I taking up too much time?
No, that's fine, Jerry.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to show, I think one more search here. And I wanted to show probate records. And so looking in the catalog here, I'm kind of wondering, shouldn't there be more probate records than just these two titles? I mean, it's not anything, you know, I would expect to find more probate records. So remember when we were talking about how if you're expecting to find something, you don't find it, maybe it's under another jurisdiction. So if we go all the way to the top of that original search that I did, places within United States, Vermont, click on that. Oh, look at here. We got all these counties. So let's say I'm looking for a probate record in Windham County. I click on Windham and we come down here and what? There are 5 titles. And here you go. You have the probate records are all by district, and in Windham County there are 2. There's one in Westminster and one in Marlborough. So this is where one could miss that particular search, expecting you would find it under the United States, Vermont probate records. It's under here. So that's it. So anyway, very quickly, let's just talk a little bit about the Wiki. And went too far there, sorry. I might have a tab already here. Let's see if I do. Okay, here we go. That's easier. You can get to it also by doing search and then clicking on Wiki, and this gives you the research wiki. So this is the introduction to it. And it's really, really a valuable resource. You can start any research here on anything you want. You can do a search in the Wiki, which you can do right up here, but you can also look at the research resources, which will give you a really great jumping off place for this. And here we go. So the research resources will give you some beginning genealogy videos and how to use the Wiki, beginning genealogy, but the real value of it comes down later in the page here. And you can find records by place. So if you go to the United States, it's going to break down genealogical records in the US. And you can either click on this map or you can go to the states. And by clicking on any one of these states will give you a list of record types like this for the state, and will give you various types of information about when vital records were collected and when they started. Another really good way to use this is for international research. If you want to research all countries, it will give you links to the countries and their wiki pages. And it's really, really very valuable. And I know that, you know, people wanting to research Ireland, this is the Ireland page. It will tell you what the online records are in the database. They'll give you what, you know, these other links are for these particular subdivisions of records. Gives you a nice little map. You can click on the map itself. And and also the counties down here. So really valuable, really, really very, very valuable. And the other thing I want to show you, many times you will come across a record in FamilySearch. If you're searching from home, it'll have a little lock above the image. And when you click on that, it will refer you to the image is only available through a family history center or a family affiliate, FamilySearch affiliate library. And the affiliate libraries are all over the US. And those are mainly public libraries for the most part, where you can go and use their Wi-Fi, either the Wi-Fi or the computer connected to the internet there, and you can unlock that record. And in Vermont, there are two affiliate libraries, the Vermont Genealogy Library in Winooski and Brooks Memorial Library. So if you live locally, you can go to Brooks and use the Wi-Fi there to unlock the record. So it's very valuable. I don't know, Rockingham hasn't done it yet, right?
I sent them the information, but
yeah.
I guess not if you didn't see it in the list.
Yeah, I haven't. No, it's not on the list here. But at any rate, so that's about it. And I'll stop the share. So I don't know if there's any questions now.
A question there, Jerry, about you mentioned, those were the new records that were added. Do you know when they release those? Is there a time of year when they do that, or is it just whenever they get it done?
Yeah, no, it's I will find the link, but you can register for what's new in FamilySearch, and once a week they will send a list of the new collections and the ones that have been updated. It's the most valuable thing I know of, because I'll search a collection maybe 6 months ago, and then I'll find out that in this list of new records, they have updated it. And I said, oh my gosh, they've added 30,000 more records in this collection. I'll go back and search it again. Because you have to keep going back to these things, so they keep, re-indexing and indexing new items. So that's the way to keep up with FamilySearch editions. And I'll put a link in the perhaps in the chat when Wayne's talking. I'll put a link in the chat for you.
And then you had another question about, is there a specific place where slave records would be kept?
Oh, good question. Well, there's the Census slave files, which you'd be able to search. Also, there are other collections that are outside FamilySearch that are being assembled. That's a good question, and we could probably come up with a list of other ones, and do it that way. But yes, there will be collections in FamilySearch, and that might be where you would want to do a subject search in the catalog for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shall we shift gears here slightly?
Yeah. Let me just say, yeah, we're recording the meeting, so there'll be that.
Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. And start the play. All right. So kind of picking up from where Jerry left off, this is another section of the website. It's a giant family tree that anyone and everyone can add to. This section, there is an overview about the tree on the main webpage. You click on this overview link, and it tells you that they have 1.2 billion people in this family tree. It's a, again, it's free. It's part of the free website. It doesn't cost anything to do it. And you can create, I'll be showing a little bit of that, but there are multiple views. You can do fan charts or descendancy charts. You know, there are a lot of pieces to it, but it is all part of one giant tree. So just a couple, if you haven't done this, it is a crowdsourced tree, so anyone can update it and anyone can change it. You can think of it as like Wikipedia for your family. It's not a personal family tree. You can't create, you don't create your own tree within it. You end up connecting your branch of the tree to the overall tree. It's fairly simple to do. If you haven't done it already, you need to set up a free account, which is basically a username and a password. It's the same password you use to get on FamilySearch.org. And then you start adding what you know about your family. Living family are hidden, so frankly, the best way to start is just to put yourself in, your parents in, your grandparents in. At some point, you will connect to somebody who is already in the family tree. I mean, with 1.2 billion ancestors in that file, you probably will not have to go too far back in time to make the connection. But basically, as soon as you add a deceased ancestor, it will search and ask you and come up with a match and ask you if this is the correct person. If you agree to that, then you're then connected to the whole family tree. Oh, just a reminder, you know, on the main webpage there, in the upper right corner is if you can create an account, or you need to be sure you're signed into an account in order to use it. Here's a look at a fan chart. Here's the thing, I did not enter any of this information. Like I said, it's all crowdsourced. These are other people who evidently are probably related to me, since some various people have gone to the trouble to add my Blanchard ancestors in there. And in the fan chart, frankly, it's kind of a nice way to navigate. You can also use, well, there's several other charts. It's up here in the upper left corner. You click on that little arrow there, and you can change the whole view. It's a clickable, you know, these are all links, so you can click on the name of a person. Up will pop the person's name. You can put them in the center of the tree and look at their ancestors, or you can click on the person link here, and it'll take you specifically to that person. The thing I particularly like to find is things like this, where there are 22 sources in there. So it's not just that somebody made this person up, that they actually had some documentation about why he's there. There are, you can collaborate with other people who are researching the same person and leave notes under this collaboration link. Memories just means you can upload information about the person, pictures, text. There's a lot of ways to do that. This really has been my pandemic project going on 2 years now. I'm looking for the descendants of this Samuel Blanchard over here on the left. He was a child, came here with his father in 1629. No, I'm sorry, 1639. He was born in 1629. So he was like a 10-year-old on the ship to Massachusetts. Just another view. This is a descendancy chart. So I'm looking at Samuel's son, Thomas. He had 3 wives, and most recently I was trying to research some of the children here of his second wife, Hannah. Again, these are all clickable links. So that can take you to, you can click on the person in that chart and again, come up with his or her information. And so this is what you see if you click on the person. It's a really long file. I had to break it up in order to show something here on the screen. So this is the detail view, giving kind of the basic vital information, other information. And then it goes on down and includes information about the family, includes the parents, the children of the parents. In other words, Nathaniel's siblings are over here, and his marriage, if there was marriage information there, it would be in here. And of course, then lists his children. So I have found this a very helpful way to kind of piece together information as I've been doing this research. When you click on, like as I said, what I was particularly interested in is what other, what do we know about this person that is actually documented? Is there some source information? So if you click on sources up here at the top, details gives you kind of the overall picture. Timeline takes you to this. In other words, this is the detail view. This is the source view. There is one collaboration there and one memory listed there. So this is, like I said, this is what I was looking forward to in order to try to verify information that I'd found in other places. And then I'm looking for sources to see if the information that I have is really accurate or not. So in terms of verifying the vital dates, so Nathaniel, and then I was kind of drilling down, looking for information about these children to see what I could find about them. So here's Nathaniel's son, Nathaniel, which of course they had to name. There's a long string of names here, especially Nathaniel in this particular branch, where I was trying to sort out who was who. So if you'll see here, I've clicked on a source. It pops up with, tells you, that he's mentioned in the record of basically one of his children, this Amelia. And the other interesting thing that I like to check out is that there are other historical records that might be of use to me. In this case, it's all New Hampshire birth and christening records, so I think some of these are probably duplicates. It's possible for a person to end up, it looks like, in more than one database. Once you get in a little further, the thing I'd like to try to find is the actual document. In other words, those are transcriptions, and so I'm looking for the actual thing. And you'll see here it says check image availability. So this particular one, it didn't have a direct link to the information that the image that I wanted. It just gives you a summary on this page. So to find that, and this is kind of one of the things that Jerry was just going over, sometimes you do have to go through and browse through the film itself, which is, can be rather time consuming. Because if you'll notice, Jerry, and the examples he gave you, they were numbered in the hundreds. This is over 5,000 images in this particular file. And you see all these little thumbnails. So you can click on each one of these things and start going through. You can page through with this link up at the top. You could go one at a time. It is helpful sometimes in here, there is an index. In this particular case, it was not as helpful as the examples that Jerry had. In other words, his were by name, and this is just a chart, which I, to be honest, did not find all that helpful. It should tell me you know, that she would be, you know, it says the, you know, it tells you on the screen what to look for. But then I'd have to find this particular box, if you will. Basically, it's part of a microfilm screen. So to sum it up here, I'm not going to go through all that individually, but number one, the images were not in alphabetical order, although the B's were sort of listed all together from what I could tell. But it wasn't any strictly alphabetical order, but I could look in there. A lot of trial and error browsing. So I would go forward a little bit, I go back a little bit until I tried to finally narrow it down. I found her here on image 2902. Except the really puzzling thing is that it says that this is a male. And I was pretty sure I was looking for a female. So it does require, you know, some additional work outside of this. I was able to find a picture of her gravestone. It does identify her as the daughter of Nathaniel and Sarah. So even when you actually find a record, sometimes there are mistakes on the record itself, but that's where you look at trying to find multiple sources is probably the best thing to go through here. Now, as I said, anybody can add information. So I have found this information about Nathaniel and his children in a history of Westmoreland, New Hampshire. So if you go to this memories area, it's possible to upload photos. You can upload documents. You can create a story. You could even, I guess, do an audio file. I've never attempted that. But in this case, so just to kind of add to the information, I uploaded the page out of the history book. I did discover that when you upload these things, they are there. And if you want to connect it to somebody else, you do not want to try to upload it again. You want to upload it and then select it from the gallery. So this was the information. And then you can choose to upload a photo or you can select from the gallery. So if I wanted to connect Nathaniel here to other people, because like for example, all of his children are listed there, so you could connect this same document to all of the children. You want to select it from the gallery. I have sort of a dilemma about the whole tree, because you can change anything in there. You can. So what that means is if you've gone to the trouble to change stuff and put it in there, somebody else could come along and then change your changes. So the way I've kind of resolved that is that I click on this collaborate button and I'll leave a message there. You know, for example, in researching part of one branch of this family tree, somebody had connected one of my ancestors to a family in North Carolina and went on to include a very, you know, all kinds of details, you know, marriages, births, deaths, and, you know, so forth, and the whole family, which I think the entire branch is probably incorrect. But I was not, to be honest, not motivated enough to want to actually change that. So what I did was leave information in the collaborate file, and then I uploaded a second marriage record, which I think is the correct one. I mean, almost all of my ancestors in these early years were in New England, and I, for the life of me, could not figure out how this one woman would have ended up marrying somebody in North Carolina. It just didn't seem that likely. And the other reason was there's a Blanchard project on a DNA test site, which separates out various branches of the Blanchard family. And I don't think this North Carolina branch, at least genetically, doesn't really connect to the New England family. Anyway, I didn't want to make changes, but I did want to let somebody know that I thought that they're, you know, if they were following this and wanted to check back on it, it is possible. You can click up here on the follow thing. And so that if somebody makes changes, I think you also get notified. I've not tried that myself. Like I said, my main focus was searching for historical documents with people that I knew were part of my family. So rather than, there have been times where I will update or attach files. I mean, update the person's information by attaching a file. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say. And I will add documents and things that I think are helpful. They were helpful to me. The other reason is it gives me a place to store that. If I wanted to find it again, I'll, you know, and I'm looking for something else about the family, I can find out where, I can go back to this and find out where I left it, where I've left the documents. So anyway, that's how I use it. In terms of information about the tree, there's the overview page that I showed at the start. There's several blog entries on FamilySearch. There's a whole blog on how to use the tree, how to look for record hints, and what to do with them. And I should mention the, I don't have an example of it. I thought I had it on there. Under record hints, they do flag people in your family tree. If it looks like there are hints that you might want to know about, there's a little icon that sits next to the person on the family tree if it's a record hint that nobody has done anything with. So it's another way of finding records that are connected to people that you're researching in your own family, in the family tree. There's also a whole section on what to do about correcting mistakes. Basically, I mean, if you start changing things and then somebody else changes them back again, and then you try to change them again, you basically need to have a conversation through FamilySearch on, what's your documentation for this? How do you prove that what you put in there is really correct? That you have the correct one and that somebody else doesn't have the correct one. It's a whole facet of the thing that I've not spent a lot of time with, but it's been helpful in terms of looking for, basically looking for records. I use several websites, American Ancestors particularly for my research, Ancestry, and then this FamilySearch, this family tree, just to kind of compare what I'm doing with what other people have found. So let me stop the share. All right. So I don't know if there were other questions.
Wayne, there is one from Michael Bosworth. Is this a summary of reasons to use the family tree feature as a tool to help you document your work and as a way to connect up with others doing similar research? Any other reason?
Yeah, those are the main reasons I'm using it. There are every once in a while, FamilySearch is good about not bombarding you with emails, but every once in a while I'll get an email saying, take a look at this section of the family tree, and you can see, which other people have collaborated the most, or added the most to your branch of the tree, that type of thing. So it has been interesting that way. I have not really tried to contact many people that way. I'm mainly interested in trying to find the records, and some of these have been kind of obscure. In fact, Jerry, I was impressed with your persistence in finding your wizardry and finding that one person, because I was thinking, well, maybe what I should really do is, because I've tried to do name searches on these people and have not come up with much. Yeah. But for example, that family lived in Westmoreland, New Hampshire.
Yeah, it just makes
probably I should try to see if there's any records in there.
Right, just makes me wonder
that are really not indexed, and that I could find more about the family.
Just makes me wonder how much I'm missing.
Yeah, I know, with billions of records, that's so probably easy to.
I like to mention that an earlier meeting we had on genealogical software. Most of the genealogical brands like Roots Magic, Family Tree Maker. What's the one you use, Wayne? What's it called?
I use Reunion.
Reunion. All of them have ways of connecting with FamilySearch, Ancestry, MyHeritage, and bringing down hints into your database. So you can accept or reject those connections to your own family tree that you're keeping local on your computer. So that's a really good argument, because if things get changed too much on FamilySearch and you don't agree with it, you always have your tree that you've proven and feel credible on your device. So, and
yeah, and actually that's the way I do it.
Yeah,
I'll be searching for stuff on there, and if I find a record that's not attached to the file, I'll attach it. But I also download the record image, and add it to my own local database, so that I have it, and in case somebody comes along and says, "Hey, that's they just changed the file."
Right, exactly. I think we recorded that session, and it's available on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are not, you can subscribe to that YouTube channel, and these meetings are all archived there as well. So if there aren't any more questions, we can just open it up to just general discussion of any genealogical things you want to talk about, your challenges, researching. Maybe we can provide some advice or hints. Oh, Michael, go ahead.
Just a little bit more about the tree. If you see the tree logo by a record, it means that particular record is in a tree somewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean, well, if the logo is, if the tree symbol is not there, it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is not in a tree somewhere. It just means that that record is not referenced in a tree somewhere. Is that correct or not? Is my question clear?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I follow you. Jerry, you showed that in one of your screenshots there, when you were going through clicking on the tree. I've not tried to do it that way around, to be honest, where I've looking at a record and then click it to see where it falls in the family tree. But
yeah, you should be able to get to that, to that record in the family tree if you've come up with it through a search. If that's what you're asking, Michael.
But well, you're correct in that if the only way those records get attached to that family tree is that somebody has gone in and found the record and attached it. So you're correct. It could be a record, but it may not yet be attached to a tree, to the tree.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I have a question, Jerry.
Sure, Karen.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm not going to be doing any, in-depth searches. I just am particularly interested in finding out properties owned by my great-grandfather in Essex County, Vermont. What would be your speediest and way to go about doing that?
I would do the search in FamilySearch,
Okay.
using that one initial one we did with just Vermont. And then once it brings up that whole list of hits, then at the top, other places in Vermont, I would then go just drill down till you get to your county, which would just be one click, and then look at, go down the list and look for property with the subdivision property records and see what's available.
Okay.
There should be something there. So you're going back to like what, mid 1900s or something, or
probably late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
so. Would I be better off just going to the county and then to the property area instead of? But should I line it up with his name or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could try it that way with a surname, but I mean, it's possible. But I think those kinds of records are the least likely to be indexed.
Okay.
And you sort of have to do the browse feature,
Okay.
And see if you can find, first of all, if those records have been digitized.
Okay.
And if they're not, then you're sort of stuck kind of calling the town clerk up and going about it that way. And many of them might do a little bit of help in that way.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I'd be happy to do a real quick one for you if you want to send me the information.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Thanks.
I have sort of a question. Is that I did my family search through LDS and the microfilm where you have to go like this.
Yeah. I saw your note.
Yeah, and you had to order the microfiche for $2.25 and then come back in 2 weeks when it arrived and all that. So I guess I've got a couple of questions. One is the FamilySearch the same as the LDS records? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, I mean, they the microfilm lending program was ceased in 2017. And their commitment was to have all of that digitized by 2020 or 2021. And I think they've succeeded in doing that. So any of those records that were formerly on microfilm now have been digitized. They're digitized microfilm in the database. But again, it may be, depending on the contractual arrangements, you might have to go to a FamilySearch center or affiliate library to look at them. You won't be able to look at them online at your home, but they would be searchable. Yeah. So yeah, I think they're pretty much the same. So
if it's Poland, which
yeah,
Poland was then parts of it changed into Ukraine. So I wouldn't be able to do it from FamilySearch, or I wouldn't be able to do all of it from FamilySearch.
You'll be able to do a great deal, and I would especially recommend you going to the FamilySearch Wiki and looking at Poland and looking at seeing what they have recommended for other sources, because many times they'll have links out from the Wiki to databases outside of their own collections. It'll give you a real good orientation to that. But yeah, no, I definitely I'm sure they've been all over Poland, microfilming and then later digitizing records. And then I put in the chat how to keep up with the new collections that are coming online. You just go to their media center and subscribe to the news, and then once a week you get this email with the list of the collections. I know I've seen new ones for Poland in there in my
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the towns was when I wrote in Polish to the National Archives in Poland, they said that town was heavily bombed.
Yeah, that's the
railroad center.
So it's like Yeah, like the burn counties in the South in the US.
Yeah.
Where,
Sorry. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You have anything to add to that, Wayne? I'm sorry.
No, I know I've tried to help other people who have searched for Polish records, but it's certainly a challenge because of the constantly changing boundaries.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes people are identified as Russian or Austrian. Or,
That's right.
I mean, there's so many variations. I've never tried to the wiki. I think is probably the best idea to see how they've organized it there.
Yeah.
In terms of how to find records that might have been.
Would these be Jewish residents? Created
under different jurisdictions.
No, they were Catholic records,
oh, okay.
but the border, you know, it's gone from Austria to Poland to Ukraine and back. I was looking in the wrong country for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, I know it. I've tried to help other people who have been doing that, and it's difficult.
Yeah, thank you.
There are Polish societies though.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Have you tried those?
I did, but again, everything I did.
It's just, it's not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming out of the cave now, you know.
Yes, we all are.
I have I'm starting to work on a particular research. So the Bosworth part of my background goes back to the 1630s when, 20,000 Puritans came over to New England. And so we were clearly Puritans. I was born into a Catholic family, as was my father. So it just occurred to me within the last year or two, okay, when did that happen? How did that happen? The Catholics were pretty anathema to the Puritans. So there is a bit of family lore. I heard from my cousin that at one point, one of our ancestors took a liking to a Irish servant and subsequently married her. And that seems to match up with some of my ancestors, but I'd like to be able to track down sort of any records that might back that up, or is there at some, who was baptized into what church or stuff like that. Any advice as I embark on this?
Are you a member of the New England Historic Genealogical Society?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because they've been digitizing Catholic records over the past couple of years. I'm not sure they're all searchable. They're all browsable, I imagine. I'm constantly getting updates from them about parish records, that they've put online.
Where would this have been, Mike?
It probably happened in northeastern Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Either Eastford or Willimantic.
Okay. I don't follow that very closely, but most of the updates I've seen have been Massachusetts parishes. So.
Yeah, I can just jump in. I know that the Massachusetts has a very strong archive for the diocese. I'm not sure if the same is true for Connecticut, but it'd be worth checking to see if there are diocesan archives kept that would include vital records and other church records that might help you see when your family came into the church.
That's a really good recommendation. Yeah, I've done some diocese work in Denver, and of course, all the records are in Latin.
Yeah, one more complication.
Yeah, right. The microfilm records. So, but anyway, it's not too bad,
Jerry, my partner's a Latin scholar. So
oh, okay. There we go.
Just keep that in mind. You need a translation.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the help.
What else are people working on?
Yeah. Let's hear about research.
I'm new, so I haven't done any research in a long time, but I'm just really grateful for this this meeting, because it's really it's encouraging me, especially the family tree wing, because, and this kind of is similar to Jan's thing. I started doing research on my my mother's side of the family. My dad's side, we go back you do, Wayne, to the early 1600s. But my mom's parents were immigrants from Croatia. And I started doing that research in ancestry, and Lord Almighty, Croatia is another place where everyone and their aunt and uncle owned that section of northern Croatia at one time or another. The city names changed, you know, from one to, and so it was just really challenging. And then I just gave up because it seemed that when I could find a record, not all the pieces seemed to match up. So the reason I'm excited is that my grandparents had 53 grandchildren, and
Wow.
our family was in New England. Everybody else was out west. So I don't really have any contact with the other 45 grandchildren, but I'm sure, and I said this to my sister in Nova Scotia just last week. I said, Catherine, I bet you somebody out there has done the research on Nana and Grandpa's family. I said, I wished I knew maybe somebody who might have done that or who is doing it. And now with this family tree, I'm super excited, because I do think that there must be probably several people out of that 4,500 that are first cousins to me that have done that research. So I'm real excited, and I want to thank you guys very much, because it's given me new hope. And I also, in terms of research, we researched my dad's family back to the 1860s, and we discovered that my father's family ancestors were major slave owners, and that everybody kind of dropped that research at that point. So you know, not happy news there. But just the other day, I was talking with someone, and I said, you know, I've been just talking with different people about the revolution, and you know, I had watched a little documentary on American spies, people that were passing for Tory and were really spies. And all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, what was my dad's family doing during the revolution? My luck, they're gonna turn out to be all Tories. But that's another thing where I want to get going on that, you know, to pick up from 1860 and start heading back. So I'm just real excited, and I'm really grateful for signing up, and this just opened.
Are those Vermont ancestors, Mary?
What?
Are those Vermont ancestors?
No, New England. The 1860, the heir to that, this enormous plantation system and enormous wealth in South Carolina, ran off with one of the mulatto slaves, and really? They went briefly to London, I think, to try to get some sort of I'd like to know this too, what happened, but I get a sense that might have been a way to escape, and then they ultimately came to Boston. So the family was centered in and around Boston, and I have Irish lines that, you know, when you talk, Michael, about your family, they started as Puritans and Catholic now. And so I'm sure my father's family back in the day, I doubt that they were Catholic, but I have two strains of Irish, both Murphys, oddly enough, on my dad's family. His mother and then his paternal grandmother, both were Murphys. So that's where the Catholic came. I'm really clear in my family. That's exactly where that came in, was those marriages. Yeah.
Wow, you got real international blood.
I do. I'd like to say that I feel like I'm a quintessential American because my
Croatia,
ancestry
too.
goes back to the early, and I have Native American blood too. So, yep, we got it covered.
True melting pot.
Yeah. Super melting pot. Yeah. Yeah. So good. Well, I'm sure I'll be checking back with people.
Oh yeah, we'll have another meeting coming up in February. So.
Oh, good. Oh, great.
Yeah, we try to do them every 2 months, something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Are you are you local to Vermont?
Saxton's River.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I moved to Vermont when I took a job at SIT in 2000.
Oh, okay.
So I lived in Brattleboro, Putney, but then my kids and I just bought an old house 2 years ago in Saxton's River, fondly known as the Money Pit, 1860s.
Right.
Yeah, but anyhow, so we are loving life in sleepy little Saxton's River. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure its value has gone way up in the last year and a half.
OMG.
A lot of people that are coveting that house from the southern urban areas.
I know. We bought it just before. We bought it the year before.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
The market went crazy. Yeah. So good. I got to check out. So I just wanted to.
Okay.
Again,
well, we'll see you at the next time.
Say thanks and
okay.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah. You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes.
Could you, since you're recording this, could you send it to me? Because that was a lot of information, and I have gotten some stuff printed off from my biological father. So, I mean, I haven't found out where they've come from, but that was a lot of information today on that family search. Wow.
Well, Jerry's, you recorded this, and you've got a link for it. You'll have a link later, right, Jerry?
Yeah, once we get it up on the YouTube channel, I'll send a link to everybody. Then you can watch it over and over again, or slow it down, or it's better that way. Yeah, and my
son can get it into a file for me, so I won't lose it.
Well, if you just save the link, you can just go back to it.
All you'll need to do is click on the link, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I'll...
And we'll put up our slides too. Wayne's are going to be much more helpful than mine, but I'll put that up, and because I did most of mine outside of the PowerPoint, they were just searches, but I'll throw it up there and for anybody's use.
All right, so I'll get that personally then.
Yeah, we'll send you a link.
Okay, well, I'll need thanks.
James, do you have anything to say?
Jerry or Wayne, if one is searching for a personal mortgage holder, a family who footed the mortgage for a piece of property, where would that be located if I were trying to find it? It's alleged family lore that great-grandparents held the mortgage for the initial Westchester Country Club in Westchester, New York, for a period of time. And I'm trying to prove or disprove that.
So these are New York records.
Yeah, there'd be New York records.
Yeah. Well, there should be, a history of the deeds for that particular country club with the county, I would imagine.
At the county level?
I would think so. Right, Wayne? Would you go so far as to say that?
There should be records of the deeds.
Yeah.
I've never thought about finding mortgage records, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they would have to record that.
But the deed, you know, if there was a sale, the deed would have been recorded. But I'm not sure in New York at what level that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I would start with that for sure. You know, just using FamilySearch and drilling down to Westchester and see what's available, and using the FamilySearch Wiki to kind of help you with you know.
Yeah, I suppose that Wiki, you know,
they'll have a land
records
link there to explain how it's organized and so forth.
Great.
Yeah, great story.
Yeah, maybe you can just show that the sale never took place. You can regain.
Yeah. It might be worth trillions of dollars.
Well, it all burnt down, so.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to look too far.
And then the new one was built.
Yeah, you don't want to inherit a liability.
That's right.
Some places make it a lot easier than others. I know, like in New Hampshire, all of the deeds are online. You can you can do a search and go way back in time on a piece of
Brattleboro too. And I mean, you can go back as far as 1962, I think, online with land records. But they have great maps too, connected to the land records, so you can see where exactly the land was located and the abutters. You know, very, very helpful.
Is that true for Bellows Falls as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would think I suspect here in town that it would be the town office would have I think deeds are recorded at the town level. Yeah.
So it'd be Rockingham, right?
Yeah, town of Rockingham.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bellows Falls, I mean, would be part of it.
Rather than the village.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Oh, they do have online.
In Rockingham.
Yeah. They do have online land records. I'm just looking, right. Let's see.
You can look through the current records are online. You can look at current properties.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, once you get one, you can trace it. You know, I don't know how far back they go, but then you can, you know, sort of go through the owners. You know, here I'll put the link in the chat. It's a little long, but.
Thanks.
David, you have something?
Yeah, question for you, please. Getting back to the presentation here today, on FamilySearch there, where there's an attempt to create a family tree that folks can agree on, or elsewhere. I'm wondering if they promote that space as kind of a sandbox to try to create something together, or are they, you know, marketing as something more absolute? You know, I'm concerned about some of the places, you know, Ancestry, 23andMe, and other places where they want to sell you books and other trinkets as if your family tree research, you know, came down from Mount Sinai. And so I'm just wondering, you know, if FamilySearch soft pedals it and you know, helps folks know this is a work in process. Here.
Yeah, I don't think FamilySearch is not. I mean, it's a nonprofit. So I mean, they're not. I think their aim is to basically to identify every single ancestor, you know, that can possibly be found and put them in that tree. Part of it is because it's connected to the Mormon Church. and I'm not part of it, so I don't know all of the details, but there's a huge emphasis within the Mormon Church to identify ancestors, make sure everybody is baptized in the church, and so on. So I mean, I think their motivation is more. They rarely try to sell me anything, you know. Clearly they try to encourage people to join that family tree, or to join FamilySearch in general in terms of doing research. But obviously, the more people that become part of that giant tree, the easier it is to find your branch of it. Literally, when I signed up for that, I put in myself, my parents. When I put in my grandparents, and all of a sudden I had this link, you know, to say, you know, is this your grandparent? Basically, I didn't quite say it in those words, but you know, as soon as it finds a link to somebody that already is in the tree, and once you click, yeah, okay, that's the person, then the rest of the tree is there. Any other links that are still that are part of that are automatically entered. So I have entered almost nothing in terms of, like I said, I think I put in my parents and my grandparents, and that was the end of it. And then I was connected. So I don't think it's not like, well, there were a couple of other websites, Wiki, Genie or Geni, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. You know, there's some other crowdsourced trees that are available, similar to those.
Yeah, I just think it's so tragic when folks, you know, misunderstand that a lot of this is ongoing in process and will be for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to. Like I said, there are errors for sure. People that have put things in that they probably believe is true, but I don't, you know, I don't think it's accurate. And that's one of the reasons people, you know, don't kind of avoid using it. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't have much to do with it, but when I was working on this project, I keep searching around for other genealogies. I looked through local histories. You know, a lot of older local histories will have a genealogy section. So then when I find those things, they're not usually very well documented. So then I'm trying to find an actual record that verifies that, yeah, this, you know, this child belonged to that parent and so forth. And so I found it helpful in that way. But yeah, it's not, in terms of its accuracy, it depends on the people who are doing the work. And obviously the people that care more about it take the time to connect some sources to the information they're adding in there. So it is definitely a work in progress.
Yeah, Ray, the overarching goal of this, I think Rachel has expressed in a quote, which she put in the chat. For Latter-day Saints, genealogy is a way to save more souls and strengthen the eternal family unit.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that could be the overarching goal for all of it. But I have to say, like Wayne, when I have never, to my knowledge, received any type of solicitation to join the church or any other kind of promotion from them. You know, I think they really try to create a firewall between that and their missionary activities.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, there's no. The only emails I've received are ones that are saying, you know, have you, you know, we've found this out about your, you know, great grandparents or something.
Right.
You know, you should check this out.
Right. And you know, and the things I subscribe to, like the what's new, you know, on FamilySearch, which is exactly what I want to see.
Yeah. So there, you know, it's good that way. You don't get a lot of. I mean, you've got to be interested in genealogy, but you don't get a lot of other. There's no sales pitch connected to it.
And you know, for that matter, any of these family trees have errors in them. I mean, look at the errors that are in the Ancestry.com family trees there. And you're paying for that.
That's true.
You're paying for that error.
Well, yeah, it's worse than that. I'm buying somebody else's
You're
mistakes.
That's right. I got enough of my own. I mean, and they're not for sale. Or if you could buy them if you want, I guess. So for the time we have left here, does anybody have some suggestions for things that you'd like to see Wayne and I start a conversation on for the next one? I think, is Roots Tech returning again in this? I think so.
I did get a notice on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can sign up. It looks, at least part of it is going to be online.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know about, I don't know if they're having any in.
And I know they'll record all of those sessions and keep them around for like a year or something, so you can go back and look at them. And that's, again, another free, genealogical convention. Basically, it's worldwide. Really good. But we certainly entertain suggestions, and we have a little database that we've put out. Maybe we can send a link again to that for people to think about what they'd like to see. Then we sort of look and see what the consensus is, and we can, design a presentation around that. We were thinking that usually it's our first Saturday in alternating months, but perhaps in February we would shoot for February 12th, and we'll confirm that with people in the coming weeks.
Was that Wayne Blanchard?
Yeah.
Sorry, did somebody say something? I didn't quite get it all. Oh, David posted February's Black History Month. Can we pick up on the question suggested about using records of slaves and free blacks? Sure. I've not done a lot of research, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and and I watch Henry Louis Gates on on Finding Your Roots. So, in fact, that's starting up again, folks, in January. So make sure you get your VCRs or VCR. That's an old term, isn't it?
They're probably digital now. But
I hope so. VCR. Oh my God, why did my mind go there? Get those videotapes loaded. Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Sure.
We'll have to do a little research on that. Unless anybody, anybody can do a presentation if you guys want. So if there's something you're burning to research and present or know quite a bit about, let us know. We will certainly step back.
Yeah, we're more than happy to have somebody else do a presentation.
And we're thinking we're going to probably keep this Zoom thing going for a while. It seems to, include a lot of people, and I don't know if we lose that much out of it. We probably have fewer people attending live, I would suspect.
Well, it's certainly convenient to do it this way, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for the confusion this morning, because we had been using my own account, but I've not renewed my paid account, so I only have the 40-minute version, the free version. But Brooks Library will loan out their Zoom account to any patron. So actually, I think anybody can use it. You just have to let Matt Walczyk know, and he'll set it up for you. So that's how we're doing it. But sometimes the communications are not. So I don't know. Matt thought we were starting at 9:30, but I wanted to get in at 9:30 instead of 10. So it looked like you guys were signing up for the event starting at 9:30, but they do start at 10. And so that was a little bit of confusion. Well, if there are no more questions or comments, maybe we'll call it a morning. And
Okay.
we don't have any snow to shovel, at least.
No.
Galen's virtual background just makes me cold looking at it.
I might have a suggestion for you.
Sure.
This is Lou Waters out over in Chester. I joined the meeting late, and
Okay.
to be honest, a reminder just before, like the morning, would have been helpful.
Okay.
I have kind of a crazy schedule, and so I missed your presentation, but I'm sure glad you guys recorded it.
Okay. That's
very good at what you do.
Thank you for that suggestion. We can do that for sure.
So it's just one of those senior moments.
Yeah, no, I understand completely. You know, the Zoom is supposed to send out reminders. So I got to check with the library to see how that's configured, because I think you can send out a reminder 1 week and 1 hour before the event starts. So they might have disabled that in their configuration. So I'll talk to them about that. Maybe they can just do that for us.
I participate with a group of alumni on my prep school, and the guy that manages it gives us a reminder whenever he really wants to, and he usually does it like a day or two ahead, and then the day of.
Okay.
So I think you can just almost select whatever you want to do in terms of a reminder.
Yeah. And you mean the reminder that comes from Zoom saying, here's the link to click on?
I'm not really sure how it was set up. It's through the Gmail, and the whole thing was the calendar, the time. And
okay, that's
who's going to participate.
Yeah, that's the Zoom reminder. I'll find out about that, because that would be handy. I mean, when we were doing it through our own account here, you know, I could configure it any way I wanted to. But now with the library, I don't know how they configure it. They just provide us with the platform, so that you guys, you know, you wouldn't have to, like, the thing ends in 40 minutes. You'd have to click on the link again to log in if we were doing it through the free version. So, but I'll talk with them for next time and make sure that we get a reminder going out. That's good suggestion.
It's a good library.
It's good.
It is. Yeah, both of them are. Okay, well,
shall we sign off?
Let's sign off, and happy holidays to everyone, and Happy New Year.